We all think we know what shared housing is, right? But what if everything we assume is, well, kind of outdated? Today, we're going to look at how this super old idea is being completely reinvented to solve some of our biggest, most modern problems. And trust me, it's about a whole lot more than just splitting the rent. Let's dive in. So, when I say shared housing or roommates, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Seriously, what's that image? Because for so many of us, what we think it is has been totally shaped by pop culture. Maybe you're picturing a scene from a sitcom, with the messy apartment and the quirky neighbor. Or maybe it's just the pure chaos of a college dorm. Or hey, maybe you just see it as that temporary thing you do when you're in a jam. But what if those stereotypes are actually the very thing holding us back from an incredible solution? Okay, so first up, rethinking the roommate. We're talking about a new way of looking at this, framing shared living not as a last resort, but as a smart, intentional choice. It's all about shifting from, that random roommate lottery to a real, thought-out plan for how you want to live. Next, let's talk about the unspoken crisis that's driving all this, because this isn't just some cool lifestyle trend. Nope. It's a direct response to a massive problem. For millions of people, the basic math of housing in this country is just completely broken. Just let this number sink in for a minute. 87%. According to a Harvard Kennedy School report, that's the average amount of income the lowest earning 20% of Americans spend on housing. 87%. That leaves practically nothing for, food, healthcare, getting to work, or saving for an emergency. It's just not sustainable. And what we're seeing is really a perfect storm. You've got wages for lower-income folks that have barely budged in decades, but housing costs just keep going up and up. And then you add this other, quieter crisis on top of it, social isolation, which is hitting seniors especially hard. Just look at this one example from Delaware County, Pennsylvania. 1 in 5 residents is over 60. A lot of them are living completely alone. This really shows why a home is so much more than just 4 walls and a roof. It's what the experts call a social determinant of health. I know, it's a fancy term, but all it means is that your housing is directly tied to your economic stability, your sense of community, your health, basically your entire well-being. It all starts with having a safe, stable place to live. All right, section 3, 5 barriers busted. So if shared housing is such a great idea, why isn't everybody doing it? Well, it turns out the biggest things standing in the way are usually just myths. So let's bust the top 5 one by one. Okay, first up, the classic. That little voice in your head that says, I'm too old for roommates. It's that feeling that this is something you're supposed to outgrow, right? Like it's a sign you haven't really made it as an adult. Well, the reality is completely different. Research actually shows that tenants in their 30s and 40s are one of the fastest growing groups choosing to live this way. It's becoming seen as a smart, strategic option for adults who want affordability and community. It has nothing to do with age. It's all about attitude and lifestyle. Okay, this next one is a huge one. The fear of the unknown. The whole idea of moving in with a total stranger. It just feels like this massive, risky gamble. But here's the thing. That fear isn't about being picky or antisocial. It's about uncertainty. And the fix is actually pretty simple. You just take the gamble out of the equation. These modern shared housing programs make finding a compatible match the very first step. You get to meet them, message them, and get to know them before anyone even thinks about signing a lease. And this one gets even more specific. It's one of the biggest anxieties people have. What happens if there's a fight? What if we just can't stand each other after a month? This anxiety is real, but it's also the most fixable one of all. The answer is structure. Good programs don't just cross their fingers and hope for the best. They help you set clear, written expectations right from day one, and they give you tools, sometimes even mediation, to work through disagreements when they pop up. I mean, just look at the difference. On the left, you've got the old way, the gamble. You move in blind, you hope for the best, you're governed by all these unspoken rules. But on the right, you have the new way, the plan. It starts with thoughtful matching, leads to clear agreements, and gives you ongoing support. One is about luck, the other is about designing for success. So what about everyone else? What if you're a couple? Or what if you're just an introvert who really values your quiet time and your own space? Surely shared living isn't for you, right? Wrong. The market is totally adapting. There's a huge demand now for homes with bigger rooms and private bathrooms that are perfect for couples. And there are also quieter homes specifically for people who want the financial perks of sharing, but without feeling like they have to be on all the time. This is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing anymore. Okay, section 4, the blueprint for success. So it's pretty clear this isn't about just getting lucky and finding the perfect roommate on Craigslist. A successful shared home is the result of a deliberate system. A report from Harvard actually gives us a great formal definition. And the key word here, the most important word, is formalizes. This isn't just about crashing on your buddy's couch. We're talking about a structured, intentional living situation that's backed up by a real agreement. And the research shows that the most successful programs all stand on 3 pillars. First, careful planning and matching before anyone moves in. Second, and this is so important, a clear written agreement. This is where you hash out everything from the cleaning schedule to policies on overnight guests before they become a source of conflict. And third, ongoing support, things like case management to help you deal with any bumps in the road. And that brings us to our last section, more than a spare room. Because when you get this system right, the result is so much more than just an affordable place to live. It has this really profound human impact. Just listen to this quote from Martha, who was in a program run by an organization called Path, Inc. She said, "I don't feel like I'm alone going through life. It has helped me care about other people." Wow. I mean, that really gets to the very heart of what this is all about. It's about connection. Because at the end of the day, this model of shared housing isn't just a roof over someone's head. It's a powerful tool. It's a tool for fighting loneliness, for building real community, and for restoring a sense of dignity and belonging that so many people are missing. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. We spend so much time looking for the solutions to the housing crisis and the loneliness crisis in new policies and new construction. But what if the greatest, most powerful, untapped resource we have isn't more buildings at all? What if it's each other?